life. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I'm pretty much content with just rhyming all day.
Or digital can instantly share pictures.
I can start. Hello. I am sorry, but I must interrupt this show. Later, you know what it is. Hey, ham song. It's time, baby. Low. It's time how we do. Hey. They said we said we in. They said we said we on. They said we said we strong. They said we said we go. We say that you heard right. 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 They said we said we in. They said we said we on. They said we said strong. They said we said go. We say that you heard right. We say that you heard right. We say that you heard right. We say that you man. I swear that it's imminent. I've been going so hard on my penmanship. About to go in and buy me a wheel. And I pull that shit fresh off the dealership. I can leave you in red like an Xbox. Got me laughing at you like you red fox. Got you chasing Hot Wheels like a matchbox. EA running the game and it don't stop. Super cold like I'm playing for Blitz. Cause you all in my sights like Red Dead Redemption. Never gonna slip on my pimpin'. Better get out my way, bitch, I'm on a mission. Really ain't no competition. I'm steady grilling opposition. I'm get up and ready to win. They can play it how they play, but fuck what you say. I'm getting this money today. Last of us like a dying breed. Down the ride like a noble steed. Fatality moves, I make it bleed. That's on any game, that's on any screen. Shut up and give me your money. They said we so lit. Even if I take an L, we coming back just to show that we don't quit. They said we said we in. They said we said we on. They said we said we strong. They said we said go.
Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a special edition of Everything Plus Gaming. Today, I saw a look at this video that was made by Legendary Drops a couple of weeks ago. I think it's important. I think it's a topic that, for some reason, didn't make its way into the zeitgeist. It didn't become like a big headline. Like, video games should have stopped. Everyone should have stopped when this happened and looked around like, yo, what's going on? What are we doing? That's what should have happened, but it didn't. So let's get into it. Rachie, Vince, what's happening? Well, welcome. Hold on. There we go. That's Legendary Drops. This guy usually has some awesome videos. But this one, in my opinion, this one is way more important than everything that he's ever done, in my opinion.
I'm going to be honest. I think this is the darkest thing that I've ever discussed on this channel. I'm hoping it's going to be the last time that I ever talk about something like this on this channel, because
probably won't be the last time. Probably won't be, considering how dark not only the story is, but also how essentially this video is just going to re-emphasize that, bro, do not look at Microsoft, do not look at PlayStation, do not look at Steam, do not look at any entity that says limited or corporate or any entity that is a company. Do not look at any of them and think they might actually, care about people. At the bottom line, bro, they will slit everyone's throats if it's going to guarantee $1 more next fiscal year. Just watch this. Watch this. I'm not even exaggerating. Ty, what's happening? Where's the legendary Ty? Oh my God. Ty, do you want to hop on? And watch the video with? I can send you the link. It's
just not something that we normally see in gaming. Recently, a video was posted by People Make Games, a YouTube channel, and in it was an expose, an investigation into a Southeast Asian video game developer that many high-profile names in gaming have been using to outsource some of their work to, and come to find out, that studio is essentially a cult. That's just the best way to describe it. Developers that have their entire lives controlled, living within the studio, controlling when they eat, when they sleep, when they drink water, what they eat, what they dress like, ostracizing them from their families. Emotional and physical trauma that is just unheard of, especially in an industry like this, because it's just not where we normally see this kind of thing. And
I think it's only unheard of because this is the first time that we're seeing it. But I don't think it's the first time it's happening. I'm not accusing anyone, but I would not be shocked to find out that this has been happening all over the industry. I wouldn't even be shocked, not even a little bit. What shocks me is that this video is at least a month old, and it did not make any waves at all in gaming. I think that's wild.
For some odd reason. This is the reason why I'm making the video in the first place, is that games media just doesn't want to discuss it. Legacy media just has no interest in tackling this topic, and all they want to do is talk about, well, Ubisoft's response. That's the only thing that I've seen from all of them, which leads me to believe that this is something that the industry itself doesn't want us talking about. Now, beyond that, what I want to do is not only share the story that was shared through People Make Games, but I also want to talk about how I think this is a broader issue that we've seen across the industry, where we have these multi-billion-dollar companies that have all of the resources in the world to be able to make some of the greatest games possible, yet they're using their money to pay outsourcers or consultants.
Because it's never enough money. It's never enough money. Making 5 billion, 10 million, 100 million in profit, that's not enough. You can always make another million. That's the logic here. Raichi says development crunches and gone, it's outsourced. Raichi, this is not even crunch, bro. This is new levels of just, I would call it degeneracy. Evil, even. It's new levels, because crunch is just, we want people to work more hours. This is on another level. Fuzzy, welcome, says, of course, why do you think it's so much cheaper to make these games in Eastern countries? There we go. There we go. Vincent, don't we all need a second yacht? I'm waiting for my first one, bro. I'm waiting for my first yacht. Okay? So if you know where everyone's going to get theirs, holla at your boy. Okay? Let's go.
Agencies to finish the work and get them to the finish line. And 9 times out of 10, it is leading to us getting lower quality products. And now it's also coming at the cost of other people's well-being. I want to talk about that. I've had a lot of viewers either leave comments, reach out on Twitter, or ask in my live streams if I've watched 100 Slaps, the breaking news that the game industry ignored in 2020.
People Make Games. 100 Slaps, the breaking news the games industry ignored in 2024. You know what? I think I'm going to look for this video, and we might have to go and watch it later. Yeah, we might have to go and watch it later. Maybe not today, but another day. For today, we'll watch Legendary Drops video. After that, we'll check out everything else. Fuzzy said, it annoys me when you see people bragging about how much cheaper games can be made in these Eastern countries. Are we saying that you can't make cheap good games in Western countries? And as for the example that's brought up here, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Indonesia or something. That's not the same as like people that point to Japan, for example. Japan, they have a very hard-working culture, but it's not to this point that we're going to get into here. At least not to my knowledge. Fuzzy.
By People Make Games. I broke down and I ended up reacting to it live, and I'll be honest, it's heart-wrenching. A harrowing tale of an Indonesian game studio used for outsourcing under the control of a woman looking to be the next Jim Jones or Charles Manson.
That I was going to be kicked out. She said that God talked to her, and so like she said she's going to take me under her wing.
What?
And give me like 2 weeks to prove myself.
Their investigation uncovered shocking details about Brandoville Studios, an Indonesian studio that Ubisoft, PlayStation, Xbox, and many more have outsourced work to. Their work is going to be featured in Assassin's Creed Shadows and many more. Brandoville Studios, an Indonesian studio that Ubisoft, PlayStation, Xbox, and many more.
PlayStation, Xbox, Ubisoft, that's essentially like what, at least 40% of the entire games industry. So this is not like a once-off thing. These guys have been doing work extensively for a long time with these big studios. Uncharted only cost 30 million. Yeah, let's settle down with saying that only the East knows how to budget games. I would correct it and say, well, the West has stopped trying to budget games. That's what I would say.
Have outsourced work to. Their work is going to be featured in Assassin's Creed Shadows, it's been in the Last of Us remake, and the Coalition's entries in the Gears of War series. In their report, People Make Games revealed a disturbing
5:30 a.m. wake up and pray. That's fine. 6 a.m. exercise. That's fine. Shower at 8. It's a 2-hour workout. God damn, you must look good with a 2-hour workout every day. 9 a.m. office. I wish I could be in the office at 9 a.m. I'm just saying.
reality about Brandoville Studios. It turned out to be this kind of twisted, exploitative operation where workers were subjected to horrific conditions. Developers weren't just overworked, they were living in the studio, isolated from their families, controlling every single aspect of their lives, from when they could eat, to what they could eat, to even when they could go to the bathroom.
This sounds like a Mr. Beast competition. You have to live at the workplace. What? It feels like Mr. Beast finances this. Are we sure? Are we sure Mr. Beast does not finance Brandoville? Are we sure? I kid, obviously. I kid. Vince says another news, GTA 5 was released on PC today. Again, this time we got ray tracing. I don't care. Fuzzy, the West just pays their devs 5 times the amount of the Eastern devs, at least in the US. Again, I feel like it's not just how much you pay, it's about the scope of the project. If you're going to overpay, you need to bring back the scope. Maybe your open world does not have vehicles, like what happened with Avowed, for example. Do you know what I mean? Maybe there's no horses in your open world, because that would mean way more money to pay people. And way more time as well for production, etc., etc. Bring it all down, bro. Bring it down. You look at the Japanese games that are successful. They focus. They have a controlled scope, and they make boku, dollars. Armored Core, one of my favorite, that I like to use an example. No cutscenes. Well, not no cutscenes, but no like cutscenes with actual characters. Most of it is just audio. Fine game. A whole bunch of people bought it. The scope was in control. They made a profit. We keep it pushing. Do we believe that if Armored Core was made in the West, they would have just looked at what it is even today and been like, you know what? That's good enough. Let's get that out the door. Spend 25 million on production. Get it out the door. No. They'd be like, no, now we need to have a whole bunch of cutscenes. Now we have to make sure we have, certain characters, face animations and 3D characters and all this. It's not even the main thing. It's just like an ancillary part, but they'd probably insist on it. So, yeah, again, I think the problem is the West doesn't know how to keep scope down and just have a focused vision and stick to just that focused vision.
Workers face physical and emotional trauma, often under extreme stress, in what became an increasingly dangerous environment to work in. It almost feels like something out of a dystopian novel, but it was real.
Yep.
The story alleged that Cherry Lai, who managed the studio, actively controlled the lives of their employees from the moment they woke up.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Raichi says Xbox One could run Assassin's Creed Unity. Why now games look less complex and runs at 580p upscaled on 10 times stronger hardware? Tell me that. Tell me why, Raichi. Tell me why. Fuzzy, we still get plenty of those games and they barely sell. Well, why is it that the Eastern games sell, the Western games don't sell? It's a skill issue, it seems. It seems to be a skill issue. It seems for the Western games to compete, they have to throw a whole bunch of money to the wall, right? Hope that sticks, because they've thrown so much money into the game, and then people buy it. Whereas the East is like, oh, we're not going to throw that much money, but we're going to make the game fucking good. That's what it seems like to me.
Until they went to bed. Cherry allegedly ordered an employee to strike themselves in the face 100 times and then send them a video of their injuries.
Again, do you guys want proof that this is not just crunch? Like, think of the worst boss you guys have ever had. Has that person ever told you to make a video hitting yourself. I don't care if it was 10 times, 50 times. Just did that person ever make you make a video hitting yourself and then send it to them? Did that ever happen? Like, we are way beyond, oh, it's crunch. This is leagues beyond crunch. It's another level. When they say there's levels to this is what we're talking about. Fuzzy says a lot of those Eastern games don't sell that much. They're just so much cheaper to make in the East that it's still a good business model. And that's what I'm trying to say, Fuzzy. You don't have, you see, the problem with scope, the thing with scope that a lot of people don't understand, at least from my point of view, if you spend $50 to make a game and you make $200, sure, you didn't make $1,000. But oh my goodness, compared to your scope, if you look at your scope and how much you've invested, you're making out like a bandit. That's more than 150% profit. You're good. Do you understand? And that's why for me, even though Taye a couple of months ago proved to me that yeah, most of video games, most of the big group good video games are AAA games, I still feel like the corporatization of video games leads us to this never-ending rat race that gives us these types of outcomes. Because with your From Softwares, for example, you can still find a way to just make a profit and keep it pushing. You look at their track record; these guys weren't making crazy amounts of money until Elden Ring. Before Elden Ring, it was like, you know what? You make a decent investment, you make a decent return on Dark Souls 1, Demon Souls, Dark Souls 2, etc. And it's all good. You know, they kept it pushing. No one lost their jobs. They probably even expanded the studio just a little bit. Why? Because the scope was reasonable and the profit was also way above the scope because the scope was reasonable, right? The investment was reasonable. If you sit there and then your scope is gigantic, your profits also have to be ridiculously large. That's why you see Nintendo and the people in Japan, they have an investment, the game sells 1 million copies. Everyone's popping champagne in the studio. Why? 1 million copies, let's say it translates to about 45 million after you've made all the deductions. Let's say it translates to about 45 million. These people they probably spent way less than that to make and ship the game. So again, for me, I think the key is scope, guys. We need smaller scopes in the West. Oh, sorry, they need, because I'm not in the West. They need smaller scopes in the West. Tai, there's no issue with someone making this video. It's great actually. I just have no idea why he decided to make it seem like a conspiracy. Why is everything a conspiracy? Like, this studio is clearly abusive, but what's the accusation? That publishers and developers covered up the story? No, the accusation is the same one I made at the beginning of this video that I'm recording right now. This should have been a come to Jesus moment. This should have been a moment in video games when everyone stopped, turned around, focused on what the hell's going on in Indonesia, and then we all got an accounting of what's happening in all the other studios around the world. Instead, we got piecemeal articles running with whatever it is that Ubisoft said, and we're going to get to that in the video. We're going to get to that. Rachie says, I'm super happy if my investment of 5 years can get 50% increase on my money. They are able to 400, 600% increase the investment. Exactly. And that's if the investment is reasonable, bro. That's all it is. Fuzzy says, and what if they needed to pay their devs 5 times more? And that's what I'm saying, Fuzzy. If you have to pay your devs 5 times more, make sure that what you're paying them what you're paying them is not for them to create freaking GTA, because the amount of hours they have to put in to make GTA on that 5 times more salary is going to balloon your scope. But if you sit there and you task them to build a game like Armored Core, a very focused linear awesome game, your scope will come all the way down. Do you understand? It's not the salaries that's the issue. It's the salaries plus the scope. That's what it doesn't mesh. That's what causes the conflict, in my opinion. Richie, Ty says instead we have people talking about black samurais, Dustborn and Conquer. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit, Ty. You know what? You know what? That's actually a fair point. That is a fair point, Ty. It's a fair point. All right, let's go.
She would have women of the office send her what they plan on wearing to the office, and then she would criticize them, call them fat and ugly, and say that they shouldn't have been born.
My God. Listen, even if someone's fat and or ugly, that's not the right, the right way to go about it as an employer. And then telling people what to wear. Guys, come on. Come on. Can we agree? Can we agree that this is way beyond whatever it is that we used to think that crunch was? Come on.
She would rally workers to verbally attack or shun other workers, otherwise they would be faced with her wrath. There's employee testimonies of financial control where Cherry would take an employee's entire check because they were bad with money.
Motherfucker, it's my money. It's my money. If I want to spend my money on hentai, that's my problem. If I want to spend my money, right, on water-based lubricants from the United States, that's my problem. Why you checking my pockets? Dude, come, this is like, it's not even invasive anymore. This is horrible. Exactly, Vince. That's mental abuse. You could probably go to jail for this. Taking people's salaries, you could probably go to jail for this. I think there's legal like issues here. No.
Video where she's interrogating an employee that's concussed because she told them to slam their head into a door frame. And the account of working a pregnant employee.
My guy, she's making people slam their heads into a door frame.
Regularly until 3 o'clock in the morning, forcing her out of her maternity leave and ultimately resulting in the loss of her child. I could go into further detail, but I'm...
Come on, yo. Come on. I want someone to defend these people. I want to see one person in the chat attempt to defend these devils. Demons. Like, this is lower than low. Can you imagine overworking someone that just had a child to the point that the child died from, I'm assuming it's from negligence, since they're getting phone calls and instructions at 3 in the morning? Is this even still video games? Are we still talking about video? I'm sure someone just hopped on the chat right now and is wondering, are we still talking about video game production or development? What are we talking about? Are we sure we're not talking about like a camp somewhere or some weird stuff like that? Yeah, all in the name of profit, fans. All in the name of profit.
I'm just highlighting some of the worst moments that were shared. However, I would recommend that anybody that's out there that's interested to go and watch the original video from People Make Games, because that's the only way that some of these issues get fixed, is if there's more awareness around these issues. Many in Indonesia have found that if there's an issue that doesn't go viral, then the government or their legal system isn't going to do anything about it. With as much virtue signaling as we see in the games industry today.
Hey man, at least in Indonesia, if it goes viral, the government does something. Around here, if it goes viral, nothing happens. Nothing happens.
I am surprised that the only people that were discussing this is People Make Games. While the media has covered the topic, they've only just brushed it to the side just to give whatever Ubisoft's response to the investigation.
Let's see what the media is saying. Ubisoft responds to accusations of abuse at Assassin's Creed Shadow Support Studio. The publisher says it's deeply disturbed by reports of alleged physical and mental abuse at the Indonesian studio it outsourced work to. I don't know, man. I don't know. It just like, maybe I'm wrong. Well, I guess you still have to make an investigation, but I'd be curious to find out if there's other articles later on updating saying, okay, after said investigation, X, Y, and Z. I'd be curious to find that out. Vince says they ran a sweatshop, essentially, a video game sweatshop. That's what happened. Fuzzy, it's hard to lower the scope of the US games when China can make Wukong for 40 million. Gotta compete. How can I put this? We all have to compete in life, Fuzzy. All of us. We all have to compete in life, regardless of where we live. I can't sit here and say, and throw my hands up in the air and say I can't compete because I was born in a third world country, right? I don't know where I'm going to get a quadcast, the money to buy a quadcast microphone. I don't know where I'm going to get a high quality camera. Right now, as it is, I still need more ring lights. I don't know where I'm going to get that. I don't know where I'm going to get the internet to connect on TSWS. I don't know where I'm going to get the money to buy a gaming PC. I don't know where I'm going to get the money to buy a PlayStation 5, an Xbox, whatever. But the world kind of keeps on moving regardless of whether I throw my hands up and say, it's not fair, it's not fair, the world's not fair, life's not fair. It doesn't matter, right? Life's going to just keep on going. And not to be cruel or anything, but you have to compete with the weapons that you have. In the US, you have a overpaid workforce in terms of game developers, according to the tweet that you're putting up here, right? It seems like they have an overpaid workforce problem. Well, lower the pay of the workforce or lower the scope of your games. If Wukong cost 40 million, then sit there and find developers that can make you something close to Wukong, or take 40 million and be like, yo, let's make what we can make with 40 million. That's your choice. If you're competing in the market of video games and you're located in the blessed United States. If you live in the communist country that is China, well, it just so happens that with 40 million, you can produce a game that in Europe or US would cost you 100 million. Either way, you need to compete, my brother. You don't get to opt out and be like, oh, you know what? Because it's not fair, we're gonna make a game that's 100 million and expect the same return as the people that that put in 40 million in China. It doesn't matter what your barriers to entry are. Either way, the Chinese are still going to make Wukong Part 2 for 40 million. They're still going to do it. It's up to you now if you're still going to spend 100 million knowing that that's not going to work out. Or if you're going to sit there and be like, guys, let's bring the scope all the way down. We can't make games that is as polished as Wukong with the low budget that Wukong had. The only games that seem to that can have high budgets and still have a success is like the gigantic games like freaking Grand Theft Auto or The Witcher, you know, Cyberpunk, stuff like that, Baldur's Gate. It is what it is. You have to compete, or you can get the fuck out. Either way, the industry will keep on pushing. That's how I see it. Vince says, check your Prime Gaming for free GOG copy of Deus Ex. Ooh, nice. Nice. We'll do, Vince. We'll do. Ty, look, you want to find, you want, You won't find, I think you wanted to say you won't. You won't find much articles because the people don't care. They care about culture wars. They care about owning the libs. These are the truths. The problem is, Ty, the people writing the articles are the libs. So I would be 100% with you if it was the other way around. But it just turns out the libs are the ones owning the articles, owning and running places like IGN, etc. So good try, but swing and a miss, bruv. Fuzzy, I never said it was unfair. If they lower the pay, devs will leave. If they lower the scope, they don't meet expectations. No, I don't think they won't meet expectations. Fuzzy, let's discuss. Let's discuss on this one. If they lower the scope, in my opinion, and I'm gonna go back to Armored Core again. If they lower the scope, and then they stop trying to make every game have everything and every function, and then you have something that's focused like Armored Core. If they do that with every single game that they make, I think they'll be fine. Honestly, I think if they make more focused games in the West, it's like if you want to make a microtransaction game, make a microtransaction game. Just like what they do in the East. They make a microtransaction game, the story is shit. The story, not the store. The story is shit. Like there's no lore whatsoever. And there's like hot waifus and lots of outfits, and that's it. They're done. Right? In the West, the problem is they try to have their cake and eat it too. You can't have a game like NBA 2K, for example. It supposedly has a campaign that takes, I don't know how many hours it has. I don't know how many hours of mocap, at least 30 or 40 hours of mocap and cutscenes, right? In the campaign for NBA 2K. You've got your multiplayer that is continuing to run at all times, plus the store, right? You've got freaking video games inside the video games of like kart racing inside NBA 2K, right? You you've got the gambling Ultimate Team as well. Don't forget that. It's so many like little sub games inside the game that it's like, yeah, of course it costs 200 million. Of course it costs 100 million. Of course. Wukong cost 40. It also helped the fact that they sat there and they're like, we're going to do one thing. We're going to do one thing. We're going to do it very well, but we're only going to do one thing and be out of there. But when you try to stuff one game with every single thing to try and make sure that people get in and they stay in that game forever, that's what happens. That's what happens. Rachie says life is not fair. Example, I started watching the stream while playing SnowRunner. Hold on. While playing SnowRunner, I drove for 30 minutes with a huge empty trailer, and when I arrived to load the cargo, it wasn't the right trailer. Oh no, Richie, no, 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 oh no. Oh, dude, I'm sending you all types of virtual hugs. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Richie. Prime Gaming is also giving away a hard XCOM like strategy game. Forgot the name. All right. I'm sorry, Richie. Damn, 13 minutes gone, just gone. Okay. Um, Fuzzy, US games don't get the pass that Eastern games get when it's missing a feature. Well, it's time to start conditioning people to start giving US games a pass. Because the only reason people are where they are in terms of expectations with American and European games is because they've been doing it all the time. We expect Assassin's Creed to be stuffed full of microtransactions. We expect it. Stop doing it. Stop doing it, and people will stop expecting it. 2K has no problem making ridiculous amounts of money, so that's a bad example. Yeah, it's actually a good example, Fuzzy, because 2K does that, makes money. The rest of the Western industry looks at it and says, we could probably beat 2K. No, you cannot. And that's the problem with the Western games. The scope in the Western games, that's the problem. They look at GTA and they're like, me too. Hashtag me too. Okay, sorry. I shouldn't have said that. My bad. Anyways, you need to look at GTA and be like, yo, that's GTA. That's not us. We're gonna chill on that shit. And the Western games, they can't do it. They don't do it. Right? The Japanese games, do you think the Japanese games don't see what's happening out west? They see it. They see it. They're like, huh, interesting. Well, we're not going to do that because we're not them. We're just going to do our thing and then make our money. The problem with the West is you have GTA, you have Call of Duty, you have Fortnite, you have NBA 2K, you have Madden, and then everyone else is sitting there saying, we can be those guys. Bro, you can't. You won't be. It's like that story of what's his face? Bill Gates. He left college. He's a college dropout. My guy, do not sit there and say, I am going to drop out of college like Bill Gates and get the same outcomes. That's not how it works. It's just not. Rachie says something big nowadays are developers passing the bill to gamers. They won't spend money to optimize the game. You will spend money on better hardware. It's fine, bro. They can keep passing the bill. We'll just keep not buying the games. And they'll keep shutting down the studios. It's not a problem. Dude, this is a self-correcting issue. At the end of the day, when we bitch, when we moan, saying developers don't do this, don't do that, we are being nice. What we should do is be like the Japanese. Do you know what happens in Japan? They don't rant. They don't go out there and complain to developers. They look at rubbish, they turn around and they leave. That's all they do. At least in the West, we have the courtesy to sit there and be like, yo, you messed up here, here, and here. That's all right. All right. Fuzzy says it's working for Monster Hunter. Yes, it is working for Monster Hunter. But it's a bad idea for every other game developer to sit there and be like, we're also going to do what Monster Hunter does. It's levels, bro. It's levels to this. You can't just look at a specific behavior and say, well, this was successful. We're now all going to do this. In video games, it takes more than that. It takes more than that. That's why all these articles came up about, oh, the industry is waiting for GTA to open the door to $100. When GTA opens the door to $100 a game, if they do it, I'm going to buy so much popcorn, because I'm just going to be sitting there watching as more and more studios swing and miss. I'm just having my popcorn. Everyone's sitting there. Oh, we can be GTA. Oh, shut down. Oh, this layoffs. Oh, studio shut down. That's all that's going to be happening when GTA launches $100, and all these idiots think they're also going to be GTA. We're going to have the biggest culling of dumb video game publishers and developers that we've had since COVID. I, for one, welcome it. Let them swing. Let them fail. Let them shut down. Losers lose, winners win. It is what it is. Tai says, no, look, what are you advocating for? Average cost in China for developers, 43K, depending on region. Average cost in the West is 80 to 100K. That's double the cost. It's not to say that they're not efficient, they are, but still, full story matters. All right.
Was because Brandeville, the last game that they were working on, was Assassin's Creed Shadows. Ubisoft responded to Eurogamer saying, "We are deeply disturbed by the reports surrounding Brandeville Studios. We strongly condemn all forms of abuse, and our thoughts are with the affected employees." This response, from my perspective, claims that they were unaware of the situation at Brandeville. They said that they only had learned of the working conditions when people...
I feel like we should give them the benefit of the doubt. I think we should give Ubisoft the benefit. They didn't know. I'm okay with assuming that they didn't know that this was happening. The same way the U.S. government, right, didn't know what was happening with a lot of stuff that had to do with like USAID or whatever, the so-called nefarious stuff. I'm not on the side that USAID was all bad. I'm not on that side, but there was definitely some bad stuff, as was shown with all the compilations. There was some bad stuff, and I'm willing to give Ubisoft the benefit of the doubt here. I don't think Ubisoft was aware that this was happening. I also don't think they were checking to make sure that the standards of the developers that they were outsourcing for were good. I don't think they cared either way. I think they just sent the checks and they were like, "Yo, deadline is on the 12th of November. We don't care how you do it." That's what I think happened. Fuzzy says, and it's even higher on the West Coast in the US, where basically all of the biggest budget games are made. Again, bro, dude, it's survival of the fittest. It's survival of the fittest. I'm telling you, as soon if Western games go up to $100 with GTA, if GTA is 100, if they all go up to $100, and Eastern games maintain their price, or even if they also go up to 100, the only thing people will care about is quality. People don't care who makes the games, whether it was made in the US, whether it was made in Japan, North Korea, South Korea, China. No one cares. I could make a bomb ass game in Mozambique tomorrow. People will buy the crap out of it, regardless of the situation that's in my country right now. No one cares, bro. If you own a business in making video games, it's not smart. Well, like you just said, Fuzzy, it's not smart to sit there and be like, "Oh, California is where we're gonna make the game." All right, like unless your game is a surefire hit, I would advise against working in California. I would advise like, "Yo, take your ass to Canada, uh, go to France, go to Brazil, like this, go somewhere else, bro. Don't go to California. Don't go to one of the most expensive places to live on the entire planet to go and recruit talent and pay their salaries. Don't do that, unless your game is freaking GTA, right? Unless your game is NBA 2K. Don't do it. It's just business 101. Rachie says just stop paying consultancy agencies. Yeah, that's a good start. Vince, like Apple didn't know about cobalt from Africa, benefits of the doubt with a tendency of benefit. You know what? Cobalt in Africa, everyone knows that specifically. That slave labor, there's there's wars being waged over. The people are dying. The people used to say blood diamonds. Well, there's blood cobalt these days. I think cobalt is different from this situation in Indonesia. And you know I'm not the biggest Ubisoft fan, but we have to be fair. Because cobalt is something that's been documented about what's going on in the countries in Northern Africa. Everyone knows what's going on. Northern and Central Africa, everyone knows what's going on in those countries, right? That's the cobalt situation, Vince. But with Indonesia and this specific studio, well, excuse me, we're only now finding out. So again, I will insist on giving Ubisoft the benefit of the doubt on this one. Just saying. Rachie says, just come make games in Canada. Yeah, go make games in Canada. It'll be cheaper. Jacob, what's happening? Welcome in, Jacob Novik. Welcome, welcome. Rachie says, nobody cares that Expedition 33 is French. 1,000,000%. I thought Expedition 33, if I'm being honest, I thought it was Japanese. When I first saw the trailer, I was like, oh, okay, it's a nice Japanese game. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. It looked good. It's like, wow, this looks like it came from like Okinawa or something, you know? Definitely, I never would have guessed it was French. And nobody cares. You're right, Richie. They just want a quality JRPG game that Final Fantasy stopped supporting. Fair enough. Fuzzy says exactly. All people care about is quality. So because of the high wages, United States needs to spend more money to compete with the Eastern studios that barely pay their devs and work them around the clock. Okay, I'm trying to see your point, Fuzzy. I'm not seeing your point. Jacob says, do anyone Know how much time it is till 12 o'clock. Tony Hawk Pro Skater time. I think it's US. Their website says 12. I don't know. I don't know, Vince. Sorry, Jacob. I don't know. Vince says that's fair, but Ubisoft is dirty with a sleazy corporal boss. No doubt. Everyone knows about the story about the Guillermo brothers. Everyone knows about the story about the execs that got accused of sexual misconduct, and instead of getting fired, oh, you get moved from Ubisoft, I don't know, whatever, to Ubisoft Montreal. And then, oh, you got accused? Okay, you're going from Montreal, you're not going to somewhere else. It is what it is. This is just another layer. But again, in my opinion, this is just a layer of, I wouldn't say incompetence, but indifference. I don't think they knew. Sorry, not indifference, ignorance. I don't think they knew this was happening.
Make games publish their video. But here's the thing. Ubisoft knew exactly what kind of studio that they were working with. While they may not have known exactly what was happening, they knew exactly what they were paying for. They chose to outsource work to Indonesia, a country that is known for lax labor laws where companies can get away with practices that would be unacceptable in most.
Still, I think you're reaching. You're reaching. For me, I think Legendary Drops is reaching. Yeah, sure, they have lax labor laws, but you don't know what's happening in those places. I think we're reaching. I think we're reaching. Let's read this headline. Feds link Indonesia nickel needed for EVs to forced labor. A Labor Department report comes and okay, sure, but that's nickel. That's nickel. I think it's irresponsible to extrapolate Mozambique has a problem with corruption in politics. Ergo, you can't do business with anyone in Mozambican agriculture because politics is corrupt. It's like, settle down. All right, settle down. All right, nickel is one thing, video games is another thing. Prove video games. If corruption in nickel has been found, fine. Let's deal with that specifically. But let's not like put the brush everywhere, in my opinion, right? And I'm not Indonesian. I don't know anyone from Indonesia. I just think like, yeah, it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea because now anyone can look at like the US, any like deformity in any like subset of the United States. You could now sit there if we use this logic. You could now sit there and be like, oh, because the US is a shortcoming in this specific area, the whole of the United States is screwed. It's like, all right, settle down, settle down. Fuzzy says, I really hope we get Tony Hawk 1 2 on Game Pass today. My disc broke a few years ago and I don't want to buy it again. Let's hope. Let's see. Let's see.
Parts of the world. That's why these companies outsource to these countries in the first place.
I need more water. Be right back. All right, back with the water. Let's see.
They can get it done fast and cheap under any conditions.
Yeah, fast and cheap. Definitely one of the reasons why they adjudicated these guys. I'm sure that's what happens. So what happens usually is like procurement goes out and they're like, we need to hire a studio with at least X amount of VFX, X amount of sound, X amount of artists to do project Y. And then they send that email out to about 20 studios. And those 20 studios, who are usually their preferred vendors, will then send a quote. And then from there, they'll adjudicate someone. That's what usually happens. So I'm guessing these guys were one of their preferred vendors, and then they got adjudicated, and then all this went down. So definitely the cost part. I just don't want to bloody Ubisoft's hand in terms of, oh, they knew that there was actual human beings like being trampled in this specific studio. I don't believe that that's what happened, but we'll find out maybe by the end of the video. Let's see.
It's not that Ubisoft didn't know the risks. They knew. It's just that the risks were far less costly than the alternative. The bottom line is lower development costs was what mattered most to them. Now, I don't want to pretend like I'm the one that's virtue signaling here. Overseas outsourcing of work, manufacturing, and materials is popular in just about every single industry that's out there. That's how they cut costs. That's how we save money in the end, and we end up getting cheaper products. But I want to...
Exactly. Because if everyone starts sourcing locally, you guys think your eggs are expensive now.
to relish in this moment for just a second, because it's incredible how Ubisoft, in the face of criticism over forced diversity in Assassin's Creed Shadows, attempted to position themselves as champions of moral integrity and democratic values. In one of my last videos, I covered an interview where Mark Alexis Cote, the Assassin's Creed boss, referenced how democracies die, suggesting that developers must stand up for their values and not remain silent in the face of...
Okay, this is a fair critique, in my opinion. Ubisoft are not the paragons that they purport themselves to be, right? So yeah, this is a fair criticism. I think this is dumb also. As the authors of How Democracies Die so powerfully stated, democracies crumble when good people decide to stay silent. I don't know, man. Like I don't want to fall for the meme of like, oh, when people say tell the basketball player to shut up and dribble. But I feel like, especially for failing developers, right? Because if you're succeeding, if you're doing crazy numbers, like if you're doing what From Software is doing, etc., I'm kind of open to hearing what you have to say about other stuff. But if you're failing at the main thing that you should be doing, I kind of feel like, yo, get good, at what you're supposed to do, and then we can talk about freaking democracy, bro. I did not come to Ubisoft so they could tell me about democracy and having a voice. That's not what I came to Ubisoft to do. But if Ubisoft had come out and said this during the Assassin's Creed 2 days, during the Assassin's Creed Black Flag days, I think a lot of people will be willing, to have some grace and let that go and be like, you know what, maybe let's listen to them. Maybe these guys have something to say of value to us. But if you're sitting there and it's like L after L after L after L, and you're just holding on by a thread because CSGO and Valhalla did crazy numbers, it's like, I don't know, man. If you check everything else, you're not doing so hot. Why are you here talking about stuff that doesn't have anything to do with what you should be doing? And then on top of that, this story comes out. It's like, oh, okay, so maybe you guys don't really care about, justice and, being there for the good people of the planet and being good citizens and standing up for what's right. Maybe that's not really what you guys are all about. That's what you say you're about, right? But your actions don't really reflect that. Because if they really cared, like to the extent that this quote and others have been made, then they probably wouldn't just adjudicate the guys in Indonesia. They'd probably make visits. They'd probably make anonymous interviews with the people in the staff. They would have sussed this out a long time ago, way before they even got into business with these people, if they cared about people. Because you find out what people care about by where they put their money. And Ubisoft didn't put money in making sure that the studios that they adjudicate these sub tasks to were actually good, humane studios. They didn't do that, because if they did, considering how many hundreds of millions they have, they would have found out that these guys, kind of sketchy. So again, right, feeding into my original point, I think they were ignorant. But again, I think they were ignorant because they don't really actually care about the human element, if we're being honest. Oh my God. All right. What's happening here? Daireezy, what's happening? What's happening? It says, I don't know what time it is over in Mozambique, but how are you, look? It is 7 p.m. in Mozambique. I'm good. Thank you very much. Tai, the developer is one guy out of like 18,000 people that work at Ubisoft. This is such a reach. Look, you're reaching. I'm reaching. Okay, sure, bud. Fuzzy, everyone sucks off the BG3 devs whenever they say that kind of stuff. Okay, someone's got a problem with Baldur's Gate 3. Jacob Novak, that's like SA. Yeah, literally. Mozambique, Zimbabwe, South Africa, I think it's Zambia, Namibia, Malawi. We have the same. Damn it, we're both at Central African time. I'm forgetting the name. We have the same. We have the same time. Yeah, it's literally the same time in South Africa. Jacob Novak. Let's get back to the video.
Threats to their vision, otherwise democracy will crumble. His rhetoric painted himself and his developers as freedom fighters, self-censoring to avoid backlash and risking everything to preserve their ideals. Yet, that high-minded talk is utterly undermined when you take a closer look at Ubisoft's actual actions. Instead of standing firm in their purported values, the company is outsourcing labor to Southeast Asia, where workers endure exploitative conditions, all to cut costs and maximize profits. They are knowingly taking advantage of countries with lax labor laws where they can pay workers less, offer fewer protections, and sidestep ethical responsibility that they seem to claim to hold so dear to their hearts. This stark contrast exposes just how performative Ubisoft's grandstanding truly is. While Kote can speak passionately about the importance of standing up for his democratic values and not giving away their freedom, Ubisoft's behavior reveals a blatant disregard for the very principles that they apparently want to uphold.
Okay, so Taya, now I understand when you said that it's one developer. The problem is that Kote is one of those the leaders at Ubisoft, and when things go well, everyone points at the leaders, at the main people in positions of power. When things go well, well, you know, you know how I am, Chai. If it goes forward, it must go backwards. If these people in leadership positions represent the company when it's good, they represent the company when it's bad. It is what it is. Yes, exactly, Vince. We share the same time zone. Fuck. Look, but in Texas it's 11 a.m. Why lie to your fans? Hope you're good, my friend. Fuck. It's been a minute. I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome, Fuck. Yeah. Listen, I'm your everyday Texan charlatan at this point. That's what I am. Tai says Baldur's Gate 3 devs are the worst. The grandstand so much. Vince says you're 1 hour ahead of me. Yes, I am. Dayreezy, it's 9 a.m. here in Nevada. Good morning, Dayreezy. Good morning in that Nevada heat.
By exploiting cheap labor in countries with questionable working conditions, they directly benefit from a system that harms vulnerable workers.
And I don't know, man. Like, let me speak as someone from a third world country. I don't know if Indonesia is a third world country, but I'm guessing it's somewhere around there. I don't like this idea of, oh, it's a country that has lax labor laws compared to the US and Europe, so let's not take the risk and invest there. I kind of see it as you have to put money in places like this to develop the industry and even the workforce to get to the level of whatever you guys are doing in the US. For example, I open a video game studio in Mozambique. I don't have 40 million US dollars to make Black Myth Wukong. I don't have that money. It just is what it is. I don't have the money. I don't have the talent. But you know what? I probably have a couple of talented designers that I can sit there and make your, I don't know, like an ancillary part of your game, whether it's the sound design, polishing up a couple of graphics. I don't know. I'm not a video game developer. Point is, that's how you develop and stimulate the gaming industry in Mozambique. So I'm not really 100% down with Legendary Drop's view here of like, it's not a good idea to elect to adjudicate and work with developers in third world countries that don't have the same high standards for employees that you have. I don't know if that's coming off right to you guys, if that makes any sense. But to me, I'm not 100% down with his view on this one. Ty says, look, what? This guy is asking why the media isn't talking about this and why it's Ubisoft's response people are focusing on. Yet here he is, literally only focusing on Ubisoft. Guy's a loser. God damn, Ty. I will put you on the screen for that one. Guy is a loser. I don't know, man. I like Legendary Drops. I don't think he's a loser. You know what? I think no one has 100% awesome takes. No one has that. If that's your expectation, Ty, then everyone's a loser. I'm a loser. You're a loser. Like everyone that's ever lived in the world is a loser because if you take enough time, you can poke holes into anyone's argument. Fark says, I've been away in Guatemala, El Salvador for 3 weeks. Wow, I've been missing from podcasts and gaming. Good to be back. Welcome back, Fark. Missed you, buddy. Did you get me anything nice from Guatemala? Did you? Fuzzy says, just get your scope right and you can compete, look. And that's it. That is it. My scope is to be a support studio. That's my scope. And I'm not going to sit here and overspend and then need someone else to over subsidize me. That's the responsible thing to do. It's a good point, Fuzzy. Scope right. Rachie says the West to poor countries, we're paying you with the experience. So it has to start somewhere, all right? Fox says some of these countries have lower cost of living. When I lived in Thailand, I could live off $400 for the month. For the month? I don't know, man. 400 pounds. I don't know, dude. I don't think that's enough. Maybe 500, maybe 6. I don't. 400. Were you living like in the ghetto, fuck? Come on. Yeah, in the UK, no chance. Dairy says, let's start a GoFundMe for Loke to work on Dustborn 2. Get the fuck out of here. Get the hell out of here, bro. If anyone pays me money to make Dustborn 2, I will scam you guys. I'll take the money and run. I'm just being honest. I'm being honest. Do not fund me for Dustborn 2. Let me make my own game. If it has to be Dustborn 2, I'm running. I'm running with the money. I don't give a fuck. Ty says, look, you're over focusing on this developer's comment. Not that deep. You're sounding like this guy, reaching. Everybody says things in their company and then the company gets sued for that thing. Sony sued for sexual assault. Nintendo sued for work abuse. Microsoft as well. Like it happens. This is such a reach. All right. Sure, bud. Fox says, Loke is my favorite loser. Just don't be like that. Listen, fuck, I need you to make something for me for Assassin's Creed. I'm thinking I might get Assassin's Creed. I'm conflicted, right? You know what? I think I'm just gonna put up a poll. So, okay, we've been live for an hour. You know what? No, I'll put up a poll on Friday. Let's get back to the video.
Their commitment to diversity and inclusivity is a narrative that is completely at odds with their business practices, revealing that their values aren't nearly as virtuous as they'd like us to believe. Now, what's really frustrating for me is how this issue has basically been completely ignored.
So again, I completely disagree with him on, if you're looking for cheap labor, you're not virtuous. I think that's a bad assessment. I don't think it's the right assessment to make, in my opinion.
By legacy media. The report from People Make Games is one of the most shocking exposés in the last year, and yet it hasn't had any widespread attention whatsoever. It's been buried, overlooked, or at best given a few paragraphs in a scattered news cycle around what Ubisoft's response is. Well, what's your response to it? And why is this? Well, the simple truth is the fact that they just don't really like addressing these kind of stories head on because it doesn't really fit into the narrative of gaming that they want to promote. It's easier to focus on the glitz and glamour of AAA titles and the hypes around new releases, but outside of that, they don't really want to talk about the things that are really going on in the industry. What's crazy is,
which I think we can attribute to all companies in gaming. I think we can say that with some confidence. Most companies in gaming aren't trying to address the controversial topics in gaming. They're trying to just skirt that and keep it pushing. Fox says, send me over the picture you would like me to edit. I'll get it done for you. I appreciate it, bro. Fuzzy says, I'm just going to get Ubisoft Plus when Assassin's Creed comes out to try Shadows and Star Wars Outlaws. You know what? That's not a terrible idea. I think I might do the same thing. Yeah. I think I'll just do the fucking same thing. Why have I been stressing? Yeah, I think I'll just get Ubisoft Plus, play Assassin's Creed, and buy Kazan the First Berserker, unsubscribe from Ubisoft Plus. It's a good idea. Fuzzy, you're the MVP today. So far, at least. Look, I lived with the locals and I would eat in local spots and go to local markets. My rent is £120 for a 2-bedroom house. What? What? You can't get a 2-bedroom house in Mozambique for £120. Where was the Thailand? You said Thailand. I want you to tell me this 2-bedroom house. Where was it located? Was it located in the ghetto? Was it located in the city? Was it in a those gated communities? Where was this 2-bedroom house? Did you have security? Did you have gates? Did you have I want all the details, because 120, that's crazy. That would make me want to move to Thailand. The
with
fuck?
as much coverage as we've seen from industry layoffs, how are overseas workers not a part of your narrative? It must be hard for them, hard to confront the reality of
Because if a 2-bedroomed house is 120 for like what 400, 500 pounds a month, you could probably get like a proper house in Thailand. Fuzzy says the $120 won't get you dinner for two in the West Coast. Exactly.
exploitation in the industry, especially when a major publisher like Ubisoft is involved. Here again, we are with a sort of complicity between big media outlets and major gaming publishers. The media benefits from positive coverage and early
It's called access media. Like, it's not a secret anymore. It's why Gamergate happened. Like, this is not news. Gamergate happened because people found out that the media and the publishers were colluding. That's all that happened. This is not news.
access reviews, and the publishers benefit from the media's largely uncritical support. If the media was really interested in protecting the interests of consumers and the employees, really defending these people, then they would be holding these companies accountable, but that's not what we're seeing. Instead, what we get to see is something that's become
You want people to hold companies accountable, go and look for a YouTube channel. Go and look for a YouTube channel. Because most of these companies, what happens is they have to have contacts at the publishing level, right? Like, I have to have a contact with Tai, for example. And then when the next Ubisoft game's coming out, I'm like, yo, Tai, can I get a code? Tai's like, all right, sends me the code. When I get the code, I'm playing an awesome game like a month before everyone else. And I have access and I'm putting on comments and whatever, and I've got clout. I'm not going to sit there and be like, wow, this game's shit. Because, right, it's human nature. It's human nature, no matter how professional people try to tell you. If I shit on this game and I give it my honest opinion that this is Concord 2.0, when the next Ubisoft game comes out and I'm like, yo, Tai, can you send me a code? Tai probably won't even reply. It is what it is. Like I don't know of any developer or publisher that's it like has the integrity to the level that you can shit on them on their games and they'll keep sending you codes. I don't know of anything of anyone that does that. Fox says Chiang Mai. Okay, dude, is the area I lived in and had no security. Okay, so it wasn't like the you know upper middle class areas. It was kind of like close to like lower middle class, right? Was it a house? Was it a building? Vince says I'll call it shit as a service. You need to pay me to review your shit.
Becoming a
Right.
much more common trend, which is them defending the industry and ignoring the parts that would actually make a difference. It's all performative empathy. That's all it's ever been. That's all it ever will be, because at the end of the day, their actions never line up with the words that they speak. They just want everybody to think that they're just so virtuous.
This is all old news. We know this. We know this. These companies don't care. They've never cared. Ty says this guy is such a bullshitter. The reason why no one is talking about this is because the media knows people only care about video games and culture wars. IGN literally spoke on this, and people. Dot dot dot. I'm guessing you're going to continue, Ty.
And righteous, but you're just a slug like the rest of us. You don't want everybody else to
Yo, I'm not a slug. I'm no slug. All right. I might sweat like one, but I'm not a slug.
know that, but it's the truth. You know, Ubisoft, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a secret. Don't tell anybody, okay? This is why your games suck. It's because you're fake people saying fake things, taking fake actions, when at the end of the day, none of that stuff is actually lining up. Real people make real games. At least that's my perspective. Or
What? Okay, their games suck, but the whole fake thing that doesn't track. That, for me at least, that doesn't track. I don't know what the hell you're saying there. Fox says it was a house with a driveway and a garden that went around the side. Nice. That's nice. For 120. It's very nice. Ty continues saying people didn't give a shit. Like, why is it some stupid ass conspiracy? Look, how many views does this guy's video have, and how many views does his previous 5 videos have? I don't know. I'm not keeping track of his analytics, bro. Fuzzy, you aren't exactly gonna surprise anyone by telling them we use cheap overseas labor. LOL. This guy has just kind of jumped the shark. No, I don't think he's jumped the shark. Like in terms of cheap labor, that shark's been jumped. Everyone's known about this. South Park even made the show, right? They took our jobs. They took our jobs. It is what it is, right? We know that's what's happening. I don't think he jumped the shark. I think he's pointing the finger to a new level of development depravity, if we can say it. This is a new level of abuse that we're talking about. You guys saw what we're talking about earlier. That shit's wild. Ty says, like, why the hell would Western gamers care about Indonesian developers in one studio? Come on, all this shit is cap. What's the name of this video channel? Legendary Drops. When you say why would Western gamers care about Indonesian developers in one studio? Indonesian developers are a consulting firm for a Western developer. Ergo, making them, at least for this specific project, part of the Western developer. What's this? Forex says Loke sweats like a slug. I dance like one too. Anyways, pause.
at least that's my experience in the past, because the very generic nature of your being is then reflected onto the games that you're making, and that's why.
Okay, you know what? There's something there. There's definitely something there. You create what is in you. You can only put out what you have inside you. And at least for me, and clearly for him as well, the last few Assassin's Creed games, even though Valhalla was very high selling, very vapid, very empty, uninspiring experiences. Just is what it is.
Your games aren't very good. The gall of these people to go and do an interview and talk about how gamers complaining is an assault on their fundamental freedoms and how they need to fight back, these freedom fighters they are over at Ubisoft. While at
Oh, come on. Listen. That was a fair jab. That was a fair jab. You're not changing the world. You're making a video game. Settle down, Caroline. All right? Settle down.
the exact same time, they are outsourcing to Southeast Asia, where some of the working conditions are the worst that I've.
So again, I disagree. I disagree. The reason, one of the reasons why the working conditions are so bad in many places is because there isn't any investment in those places. So when investment does come, it's actually a good thing. And more of it should go. Because the more you invest in it, the more people will increase their standards. Because if you guys remember when the video game industry first started in the US, it wasn't pretty. It was not the most profitable place to be. What happened? More money started flowing into video games in the US. What happened? Suddenly it's not a meme. Suddenly, video games making more than movies, music, and sports. So again, I agree with him on one half of his statement. The other half, I completely diverge from whatever Legendary Drops is saying. Completely disagree with it. Fuzzy says, nah, it's an old level of abuse. US has always done this and people have always known about it. I ain't never known about that. It's my first time hearing about that. Rachie, hey, they sleep in the studio. It means they get housing, unlike in California. Richie, what the fuck? What the hell, Richie? Are you trying to spin this as a positive, Richie? What is wrong with you? Sit down. Sit down and stop talking, Richie. Stop it. Stop it. Taya says, so I checked his channel. The video is around 300,000 K, and most of his videos are around that or higher, which means gamers don't care about this topic. And notice how he used Ubisoft in the thumbnail and also used Ubisoft name to get more exposure and click, which proves my point. People clicked the video because it was Yasuke and Ubisoft. He's literally a loser. Wait, so I'm a loser because I put Ubisoft on the thumbnail as well. Am I a loser, Tai? He's making complaints about something, yet he is participating in the same thing. Man's a wait. What you mean participating in the same? Did this guy hire people to live in his basement and make video games for them, and then not let them out and make them make videos hitting themselves? And did he pressure a recent maternity leave um, bound employee into so much stress that they lost the child? Did Legendary Drops do that? Because if he did, I'm gonna need some receipts, and we need to go after this guy. We need to go get this guy. Sapo, how did that PC turn out? Look, pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. I have it here with me. Still sorting out updates and whatever. I didn't have internet. Actually, I don't have internet on the PC, and my cable is only the Ethernet cable that I had was only 3 meters, which is too far from the router. So I couldn't play I couldn't play on the PC yesterday and today. Sunday I had a family thing, so today I went out and I bought the cable, about 10 meters, and we're good. It's now updating and doing all the other stuff in the background. Right now, today's probably the last day I'm using the laptop. So yeah, the PC is going sweet. It's going very well. Appreciate the question, Ty. Sorry, Sapo. Vince says yes, that's what Ty is saying. Fuzzy says he's not wrong. Look, wait, if there's proof that this guy is damaging so many people's lives in his basement or in an office that he has, making them slave away for a video game that he's supporting, Someone send me links. Don't just say he's right. Someone send me links that that Legendary Drops is doing all these horrible things. Please. Ty says, Loki, he is talking about how the media isn't talking about it because of some conspiracy and how they only focused on it due to Ubisoft. Yet his video title and thumbnail is literally using Ubisoft. And with all that, he didn't get crazy views, which means gamers don't care about the actual topic. They only care about shitting on Ubisoft. Why would Westerners care about one dev? And I'm bringing it back to Ubisoft. It doesn't matter what he says. Ubisoft should care. If they care about what's right, they should care. Doesn't matter if gamers think it's right or not. Ubisoft, right, the arbiters of what's right and what's true and what's just in this world. They should do the right thing, regardless of if no one cares. Because if you're a just person or entity, you do the right thing not because a million people are watching you. You do the right thing because it's the right freaking thing. That's all. Now you're saying I'm not engaging with your point. I'm deflecting. What am I deflecting, Ty? Tell me, what am I deflecting?
Seen in a really long time, working unreal hours to get some of their games done on the cheap. Gotta love it. This is such a mask off moment for both games media and the games industry at the exact same time, because on the games industry part, you have you have writers and journalists that have been talking about, oh, the layoffs, oh, but apparently you guys don't care about workplace conditions as long as it's not in California. And then on the industry side, the issue that I have, there's a lot of different issues that I have with this, but one of the things is that we have so many publishers and studios that have normalized outsourcing work to the point where they're not even really vetting any of these companies that they're working with in the first place. And as a result,
Again, I insist, outsourcing is not a problem. Outsourcing is not a problem.
we are getting lower quality products because they are rushing and pushing and trying to get to releases.
That's the issue. Rushing. Outsourcing work is not a problem. But you can't outsource work to a studio in Mozambique and that they should finish in 3 months when realistically it would take 6 months. You should not be outsourcing that. You shouldn't be doing that. But that's what happens, and that's why you get shit games. Sapo says, why can't we just go back to gaming being fun? Now that have to be historically accurate, have historic environments while not dropping a single frame. They have to be anti-war. Dude, so many hoops to jump through. And that's what I was telling, well, not telling, but that's what I was talking to Fuzzy about at the beginning when it came to scope. Games are still fun. If you go out east, they're still fun because the focus is narrow and, excuse the redundancy, focused. They're not trying to do everything in one game. They're not trying to put in 1,000 mini games inside one game. Okay, Ty is now going to tell me what I'm not engaging with. It says, did he or not use Ubisoft for his thumbnail, title, and video? Yes, he did. Did he not criticize the media for not really caring about this topic and only commenting on it by linking it to Ubisoft? Yes, he did. He did criticize that. I feel like you're trying to lead me down a specific path, Ty. I'm all ears, or all eyes, I guess. I'm waiting for you to finish this one off. Sapo, with a angry white make or some OnlyFan film. Yo,
Quickly as they possibly can.
someone's calling me. I have to take this. Hold on, guys. Let me just. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. There was some work stuff that I had to deal with real quick. Uh, what's this? Yeah, I haven't seen Mr. Joanna Dark as well. That's a good one, man. You know what? I think I'm gonna try and DM him. I think I'm gonna try and DM him. See what's happening. Yeah, Raichi, thank you so much, Raichi. Everyone follow Raichi's instructions. All right, show some support. Smash the like button. It doesn't cost you a dollar, maybe 50 cents of your time. I don't know. Ron Slasher Dustborn 2 leak. Listen, they wouldn't tell me, right? They would not tell me. Tai says one. So that means he's participating in the same fuckery as the media. He is linking this topic to Ubisoft like the media did. But it is directly connected to Ubisoft because the developers in Indonesia are specifically working on a game for Ubisoft. Why do you want to separate those two? I don't understand. Even Ubisoft haven't separated themselves from the situation, saying that they were going to look into it. Why do you want to separate Ubisoft from it? I don't understand. Number two, the video did not get many views, which means people just don't care. That's why mainstream media didn't report on it, because they only care about clicks. Again, you're not disproving anything he's saying, Ty. You're you're leaning into exactly what he said. You're agreeing with him, which is what he's doing because he's using Yasuke in the thumbnail. Do you understand? All I understand is that you're agreeing with him. That's what I'm understanding. Because to your first point, right? You're saying I wasn't engaging. I'm engaging. To your first point, he's participating in the same fuckery as the media by linking the topic to Ubisoft. Thou cannot talk about TSWS without linking Log 7. It's just not possible. You can't talk about the God of War without linking PlayStation. You cannot talk about this specific studio without Ubisoft because they quite literally right now are working on a game together. What are we doing? What are we doing? As for there not being any views, I did not at any point claim that gamers are interested in this topic. When I started this whole thing, I even said I was lamenting the fact that, dude, this is such a big story, but gamers aren't stressed. Media isn't stressed. People are chill that this horrible thing is happening in our industry. And just because it's in Indonesia does not mean it's not a part of our industry. It is still our industry, Ty. Unless you're telling me that for you the only industry like gaming is only reserved for the US and Europe. Is that what you're trying to say? Are you trying to say only they are gaming? Anyone outside of that is not really gaming? Sapo says, but he's also selling the game. I'm buying it. Oh yeah. We're definitely buying. Well, not buying, but we're definitely playing Assassin's Creed Shadows. Sapo says, me damn autocorrect. Yeah, autocorrect. It's a real bitch. It's a real bitch.
Can for as cheap as they possibly can, and we're the ones that are suffering as a result of that, and also the workers as well. And I actually
I don't think gamers suffer. No. Well, I think the fans suffer. Like if you're an Assassin's Creed fan, like for me, for example, I'm a fan of the classic Assassin's Creed games, actual Assassin's Creed games, where you assassinate, like one hit kills and then keep it pushing, like an assassin would do. I'm a fan of those guys. I was heartbroken when the new ones were like, we're moving away from assassination. Now is might as well be The Witcher 3. It's The Witcher 3, but Assassin's Creed is on the cover. That was disappointing to me. I kind of suffered. But on the whole, a lot of people that weren't Assassin's Creed fans didn't really suffer. They just kept it pushing. I'm not a Dragon Age fan. When I saw Velgard and I just sidestepped that bitch, I didn't suffer at all. I'm sure the actual original fans of the Dragon Age series were, disappointed, and they actually suffered. But me and a whole lot of people that weren't fans of Dragon Age just sidestepped that bitch. Just whoop, whoop. Excuse me. Kept it pushing. No suffering there.
I think that this is something that is a leading cause as to why so many games have just felt bad. The process of game development is a massive, complex
Cyberpunk. One of the worst starts of all time, but also one of the best games of all time. I cannot overstate the majesty that is Cyberpunk 2077. My God. What a game.
undertaking. At the heart of it lies the studio, where the talented team of designers, programmers,
Johnny.
artists, and writers all come together to build a world. But as the scope of that project grows, so does the need for more hands on deck. Personally, I think this is one of the biggest issues that's plaguing AAA gaming right now, where studios just want to keep making games bigger and bigger because they think that's how they can add value to the game, where studios are overscoping their projects, bloating their games out, and putting themselves up against a wall.
Yep. Overscoping, bloating, all the keywords. All the keywords. Yeah, this little guy is a troll. I'm a troll. Look, I'm literally talking about this guy's points. I'm going at his statements and pointing out the flaws. All right, all right. If you're talking about his points, sure. But I stand by my position that I stated before. Richie said, "Oh, what? Nobody cares. Wukong sold great in China. Chinese opinion doesn't count in the Game of the Year discussion." It Richie, you're going in hard today. I can't even put you on screen for that one. Fuzzy says, "I'll take a Cyberpunk mess of a launch every time if the end product is as good as Cyberpunk is now." Well, if that's how it is, then well, at least me, I'll just stop buying games day one. Well, it's a good thing I have a decent PC, right? Apparently, Cyberpunk from day one was good on PC. So I guess that's it. But I'm not buying broken. I'm not even pre-ordering games unless it's like Metal Gear. Unless it's Metal Gear, I'm not pre-ordering. I don't care. I don't care. Sapo says that's why they're using AI as a tool to try concepts, and if the studio think it works, they will build that. Yeah, AI, especially for, like, I think I saw Ham Solo say this. AI, especially for indie devs, will be a big, big plus. Welcome armament in the never-ending, build up to the next game. AI is going to help a lot. Welcome in Legendary. Yobi says, "Peace, love, life." Cheers, Yobi.
Needing more developers to help them finish the game. Whether it's creating detailed environments, producing hundreds of character models, designing quests, writing narratives, or ensuring that the game runs smoothly across all platforms, there is simply not enough hours in a day for an in-house team to handle everything. Outsourcing has become a staple of modern game development. Large studios in particular
Outsourcing has become a staple of all production, not just video games. Richie says big studios will still have the advantages with those huge AI servers. You know it.
often face immense pressure when it comes to meeting deadlines or staying within budget, all to appease shareholder interests. And in this high-stakes environment, the easiest way to manage the pressure is to turn to external contractors who specialize in specific areas of game development. By outsourcing, companies can quickly scale without the need for overhead of hiring and training new employees. Commonly outsourced tasks include art design, QA, sound design, and full game modules like combat or multiplayer systems. Art and asset creation are frequently outsourced to agencies or freelancers like Brandeville Studios, which helps manage the large volumes of work at a lower cost. QA testing is another area that's often outsourced to meet tight deadlines, but this is a compromise of quality. Rush QA can lead to a lot of issues, as we saw with the launch of Cyberpunk 2077, where outsourced testing contributed to that game's critical issue.
I didn't know that this was a problem for Cyberpunk. I didn't know that the main issue with Cyberpunk was that they didn't do proper testing. That's crazy. That's crazy. Sapo says that right there, he just made an argument for AI. Yeah, yeah. You can make AI do all this testing endlessly. AI does not need to take lunch breaks. It doesn't need health insurance. AI doesn't need none of that. You just press go and it'll do all the testing you need on your game.
Issues. When Cyberpunk 2077 launched, it was a disaster. The game was filled with bugs, glitches, and performance issues. A lot of the blame ended up falling on CD Projekt Red's decision to outsource their QA to Quantic Lab, a Romanian company. Reports ended up saying that Quantic Lab's employees were underpaid and overworked.
So it's not just Indonesia, it's Romanians as well. That sucks. That does suck. Fuzzy says, I think it's pretty obvious that wasn't the main issue with Cyberpunk. They just weren't done with the game. And that's the thing. If you're testing shit, you don't know that the game's not done. Vincent Vega says they did testing but released because shareholders demanded Cyberpunk income. That was also one of the reasons. I do remember that specific point bandied around. I think it was also verified actually on IGN. I think it was verified, and that's when they had the whole class action lawsuit as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The shareholders definitely had a hand on that one. Fuzzy says they absolutely knew that the game wasn't. Fair enough. Fair enough. They absolutely knew that the game wasn't done. Fair enough, Fuzzy. But I guess it also didn't help that they didn't have proper testing. Underpaid testers.
With little time to even properly test the game in the first place. These rushed tests and major missed issues ended up contributing to one of the worst game launches in video game history. In hindsight, outsourcing such a crucial task was a huge mistake, one that damaged the studio's reputation and took years to cover from. Even now, they still haven't fully regained players' trust. Cyberpunk 2077 isn't the only example of this. Sweet Baby Incorporated, an agency that's known for their narrative design, has faced heavy criticism.
Man, could we not for once just leave Sweet Baby out of this? Come on, bro. I thought we left Sweet Baby in 2024. I thought we left them all the way back in 2024. Vic, what's happening, dog? Welcome in, Vic. Welcome.
Now, while they've been at the center of a culture war debate, their work on narrative-heavy games has been called out for failing to deliver on the high-quality stories expected from AAA titles. Their contributions have been blamed for incoherent, shallow, and often offensive narratives that failed to resonate with players. Since the story is the central part of many games, outsourcing it to a different agency really doesn't make a lot of sense, and you can see what kind of disastrous results it can lead to. Anthem
This guy brings up Suicide Squad. Come on, bro.
is another really good example of a game that suffered from outsourcing issues. The game heavily relied on external studios for components like art and even its gameplay, aiming.
Okay, so I didn't know this about Anthem specifically, that they did so much outsourcing. I didn't know that. Sapo says properly tests. Cyberpunk had glaring issues that were obvious. Yeah. Especially on console. On console, the thing was unplayable. It was terrible. Like I don't even think you needed to test any. I don't think you needed testers for the console releases. So yeah, fair enough.
To speed up development and cut costs. However, this ended up leading to an inconsistency in their.
Can you still buy Anthem on PC? I need to check. I can't do it on my potato laptop because we might just crash the whole stream. But I want to check because I know Anthem was a bad game, but I still kind of loved it. The traversal was awesome. It had potential. I think if it's still available on PC, I think I'll buy it. Honestly, I think I'll buy it. Thank you, Yobi. Says Anthem is still for sale. Yeah, I think I'll just buy it. I'll add it to my wish list when it's like $10 or $5 or so. I'll just buy it again.
Design choices and a lack of cohesion. For example, the art direction varied greatly, with some areas being completely stunning and others underwhelming due to different teams that were working on separate assets.
Now it makes sense when you hear this context. I didn't know this. I didn't know this at the time, but it was a bit jarring. It was a bit jarring. Yobi says the online servers are still up, just a small crowd still playing. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. I think I'm gonna buy it.
The combat system is just the same. This is something that's crucial for any
Bro, look at that
multiplayer game, but
traversal.
it ended up
Look
feeling
at that traversal. Oh man, it reminds me of, like, when you beat GTA. I I've done this with all the GTAs except for GTA 4. When you beat GTA, the base story, and then you leave it on your hard drive, and then once in a while you boot it up just to drive your favorite cars, maybe fly a plane or two, skydive, do a couple of fun activities, and then leave after like playing it for an hour. I feel that way about Anthem's traversal. It was so good. It was so good. Ty says, "Look, I went back to double check this guy's statement. I want to drop his quote here and explain to you, without you straw manning, why I'm critical of this individual." Ty, do you want me to send you a link to the podcast? Is that what you want? All right. Let me send you the link. You can hop on and spit whatever it is that you really, really seem to need to spit. You need to get this off your chest, Ty. Otherwise, you're not going to sleep well tonight. I don't think Tums is going to even like help. You need to get this off your chest. So there's the link, bruv. Sapo, and that's another issue. High quality storytelling. We as gamers shouldn't be constantly demanding that. These have need to be judged based on what is offered, not a Sony game. Facts, Sapo. It's facts. Yobi says Anthem's traversal system was top notch. It's so damn great. It still holds up. Amazing traversal, dude. Amazing. Vince says GTA is great for FAFO. What is FAFO, Vince? I'm not I'm not sure what that is. Ty says you hop on in for 5 minutes. All right, cool. Feel free. Fuzzy, I don't know how he's blaming outsourcing again here when it's pretty clear that EA giving BioWare a 15-month dev cycle to make this game was the problem. This is the first time I'm hearing about outsourcing, if I'm being honest. That's why I said, wow, okay, I didn't know that was an issue. This is completely new to me.
disconnected from the overall game and its open world design.
I need more water. Be right back. Ice cold, baby. Ice cold. Oh yeah, fuck around, find out. Yes, Vince. Definitely fuck around, find out.
Outsourcing contributed to the inconsistencies, playing a major role in that game's critical
Dude,
failure.
even underwater. I'm telling you, like this is just making me want to buy Anthem on PC and play, especially now that I have a decent PC. It makes me just want to buy it now and play it now again.
And eventual abandonment. There are a ton of other examples
Until it starts making me grind unnecessarily. And then I'm like, all right, I'm out.
that I could go through. And to be honest with you guys, if we actually sit down and looked at some of the games that have failed over the last couple of years, we'd likely find more games that were suffering from some of these outsourcing issues. But while outsourcing can be incredibly effective, there are a ton of successful companies that either offer those kind of services or use them. It requires strong leadership and a vision to make sure that these studios are using the right people for the right job and making it copacetic with the overall philosophy and quality that that game is supposed to deliver. But that's not happening. And we've seen that across the entire games industry. Strong, competent leadership is lacking, and ultimately it's leading to games that fail. As the gaming industry continues to chase these bigger and more ambitious projects, the scope of their high-profile titles has ballooned.
Again, this is the one thing me and him completely agree on: scope. The scope needs to come way down. You need to bring it all the way down. It's a bit much. Oh my goodness. Fark already working on my Assassin's Creed situation. Oh my goodness, bro. You're the real MVP, Fark. You're the real MVP, bro. Appreciate you. Shit. Like this? Like, oh, come on. All right. All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Fark. Thank you. I appreciate that. Just opened my DMs on Twitter. Thank you. Actually, you know what? Let me pick one to show everyone on the pod. Jeez, which one? Oh, okay, this one. This one's the most famous picture of Yasuke, so I might as well. Hold on, hold on. Let me switch this around. Right. Sapo says, funny story. I was in Walmart and tripped over a cart. I got saved by a damn air fryer. I'm going to need some details. I'm going to need some details, bruv. What do you mean by an air fryer? How did an air fryer save you? Explain, Sapo. While Sapo explains, can you guys please appreciate the work of art that is on the screen right now? What the hell? What the hell, bro? That's beautiful. It is pretty, and I really appreciate the care. You got it perfect. You even removed my glasses. That's nice. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we got Tai over here.
Can you guys hear me well, or is it bad?
Oh my God, the background noise. Where are you?
I'm in the shopping center, but I'm finding maybe a quieter spot in a
Yeah,
second.
find a hallway. Find a hallway or a toilet or something, bro. I think I look pretty in that picture. I look pretty. Thank you, Fark. If I find something else to
Is it
work
a bit better now?
on, yeah, go ahead, bud. Just go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, no, I'll take 5 minutes at a time, right?
Okay.
So the problem is, I went back to double check his code.
Tai, we can't hear you anymore. I don't know what happens. Like you cut off or something. I think we lost Tai. I think we lost Tai. There we go. There we go. We had lost you there for a minute, Tai. Go ahead.
Yeah, I need to just try to get the quote. Can you hear me still?
Oh yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so he stated, for some strange reason, the legacy media doesn't want to talk about it. They only want to talk about it through Ubisoft's response, which
Yeah.
leads me to believe the industry itself doesn't want us talking about it. Now, my first point here is he's alleging there's a conspiracy, that there's people in the media who doesn't want to talk about this topic, and they'll only talk about it through Ubisoft. My statement here is even he is participating in this, right?
So
Because number
okay,
one, his thumbnail.
pause. We have to address each one of your points at a time. Otherwise, you're just going to spit a whole bunch of stuff, and I'll say, okay, whatever. Then you'll leave, unless that's what you
Okay.
want to do.
No. So the first point is he says for some strange reason the legacy media doesn't want to talk about this. So my response here is this is pretty simple. It's not about the legacy media doesn't want to talk about this. The legacy media loves woke stuff. They love corporations being evil. They love this kind of topic. So they should want to talk about this. The reason why they're not talking about it is simply because nobody cares about this topic. No one's getting clicks from this. That's why they've tagged Ubisoft's name to it because they're hoping the rage baiters and the people who are angry will participate. So I'm answering two of these points there. The reason why they're talking about it through Ubisoft is to get more views. Do you understand that?
Okay. So the reason why I'm saying Tortoise Hawaii says the background photo is definitely how Luke dresses to fit in Texas. Yeah, yeah, that's my outfit every single day. Appreciate you, Tortoise Hawaii. Uh, Ty, the reason why I would disagree with that statement, right, is because in my view, people or gamers don't want to talk about how gamers suck. But you can't go a month without an article from these websites discussing why gamers suck. This
No, that's
topic
not
of
true.
Ubisoft, this topic of Ubisoft came up once and then it died. But if you
No,
want
no,
to
no,
take the time,
that's
if you
not
want to
true.
take the time, there's an article almost every single month, like clockwork, from one of these big publications, Polygon, whatever, right? Discussing the toxic nature of gamers. There's always at least one, but
Look,
you will not produce for me at least a consistent cadence of articles pointing out this situation or similar situations in gaming.
okay, does everybody in the chat just hear what happened here? I made a
What's this?
statement and Loke just made a straw man. I'm
I didn't make a
saying
straw man.
specific. Okay, let me explain what I'm specifically saying. I'm saying
Okay.
specifically the reason why this topic, even though they talked about it, didn't get views is because no one is interested in this topic. Now, they might be interested in culture wars, but this
That's
is
true.
not culture wars. I'll give you a perfect example. When Ukraine happened and the refugees were coming over to the UK and France and Germany, they literally said on the news, oh my God, we feel so sad for these people. They look like us. They're just like us. And in my own country, they gave them more money than other refugees. And everybody said, hold on a second. How the hell are you giving these guys more money than other refugees? What makes them different? It's because they were white. Because the truth is, the Western media and the Western gamers only care about Western stuff. They don't care if freaking some game company in Indonesia is being mean to their employees. Why the hell would they care? It's China. It's whatever it is. It's cobalt mines. This is a completely irrelevant. However, if it's happening on their doorstep, they care. So when IGN posts this review or this story, and they don't even get that much clicks, and they know they ain't going to get much clicks, so they tag it to Ubisoft. This is the truth. It's not a conspiracy. These are just
We agree.
facts.
We agree.
Okay.
But
So what he okay,
but
so
it's
so
also
so, so on
true.
the first point,
Hold on, hold on. But it's also true that this company was specifically working on the Ubisoft game when this happened, which is why Ubisoft even made a response saying that they were going to investigate it.
I'm
Correct?
not even denying it correct. However,
So
key
why
thing
would you
here is
not
when
be?
this story
Hold on, Ty. Why do you have a problem, right, in a situation with Avowed, and then you are now bothered by a journalist linking the problem with Avowed to Microsoft? Why is
no no
that
no
link?
no you see
Why is that
no
link
you see
not
wait hold
allowed?
on well, we gotta finish this point off here. So
Okay,
my point here is on this specific point, it wasn't just Ubisoft, it was so many other developers. It was PlayStation, Xbox, all these guys did it, yeah. But notice how Ubisoft was the main focus. And the reason why Ubisoft apologized and everyone else ignored it is because Ubisoft was already in the hot seat because of the whole Assassin's Creed situation with Yasuke. So they have to respond to every single critique. Whereas Sony and Microsoft are just like, yeah, fuck it, we're really going to respond to this because we know gamers don't give a shit. Or we know that they care about Ubisoft. So Ubisoft has to respond. So my point here is specific. It's very, very specific. He's alleging that there's a cover up or a conspiracy. I'm saying that you know, and everyone in the chat knows that nobody cares about this topic. There's no conspiracy. No one cares about this topic. That's why. So don't make it seem
okay,
like, oh, IGN and GameSpot are hiding this topic. They're not hiding it. Nobody
okay.
cares about it. No one's clicking on it. Because hold on, let me finish the point. I can guarantee you, if IGN knew they would get 5 million views on this, which drives ad revenue, they would do it. 100%. Do we agree?
Yes, Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so he's incorrect. Now, that's just a flat out lie. The second point that I'm critiquing is he saying that this was only talked to through the lens of Ubisoft, and I'm like, wait, but bro, that's what you just did. You just use Yaska in your thumbnail. You just use Yaska in your title. Everything and in your whole video, you're only focusing on Ubisoft, talking about them, critiquing them. And I'm looking through your whole page, and everything is anti-woke, anti-Ubisoft, anti-whatever it is. He's participating in the fuckery he's critiquing.
I need you to explain more about this. How is he participating in the fuckery that he's critiquing? Because
He's criticizing media, but not talking about
if
this,
the
and only talking
industry is
about this.
corrupt, right? If the industry is sorry, can you restart that point because I didn't hear you?
I said he's criticizing media for solely focusing on this topic through the Ubisoft lens. That was his second statement. And I'm saying in your own video, your thumbnail is through the Ubisoft lens. The title is through the Ubisoft lens. Your whole video is through the Ubisoft lens. You're talking about Microsoft that much. You're talking about PlayStation that much. You're using Ubisoft as a proxy for your conversation. You're doing the same thing the media did. They use Ubisoft as a proxy for the conversation. He's literally participating in the same fuckery he's criticizing.
So he shouldn't look at it through the lens of Ubisoft.
If he wants to look at it through the lens of Ubisoft, I would say look at it through the lens of all the developers, the big studios, because Ubisoft is not the biggest the biggest publisher. PlayStation is. Those are the guys you should have went for, the biggest guys. You should have made position really feel the hurt there, or even Xbox. He could have went for the $1 trillion company. He could have went for the $1 billion company that has a platform, but he goes for
Maybe I
Ubisoft, the
misunderstood
smallest
it.
one.
Maybe I misunderstood it. But when this video was made, this specific studio in Indonesia was a support studio for Assassin's Creed Shadows. So I'm not sure which game they worked on with PlayStation or with Xbox or with anyone else.
I know this story, and when it was released, and everyone went at Ubisoft on Reddit, and then people pointed out, and everybody who did the research was like, "What is this? These guys work with freaking Xbox, and they work with PlayStation, and all these other developers. They work on so many different games before, but why is it just
Yes,
Ubisoft we're talking about?"
yes. And what I'm trying to say is their most recent project that people are aware of was Shadow. I'm not saying that they didn't work with everyone else, but can we agree, right, that it kind of makes sense for him to focus on Ubisoft, given that their most recent project was Shadows?
I don't disagree. In the same way, I don't disagree that IGN chose to use Ubisoft as a proxy as well. Exact same thing.
We
He's
can
doing the
agree on
same
that.
thing that they did.
We can agree on
Yeah,
that.
but
We can agree on that.
what's my critique is he's doing the same thing that IGN is doing, but he's criticizing them. He's
For that,
criticizing the legacy media.
yeah, on that specific angle, we can agree. We can agree, Ty. On that specific angle, yes, we can agree.
Yeah, and those were the 2 points I'm actually really
So
focusing on.
before you go, am I a loser? Because I put Ubisoft on the thumbnail as well. Am I a loser also?
I mean, you're reacting to a video about Ubisoft being an evil corporation, so no, you're not a loser for that. I wouldn't even say that. I'm just criticizing him because I actually like his message. I like that he's spreading this message. However, I
Yeah,
hate the fact that people look at things through their own lens. The truth is this yet. This is one because he said this is something that's happening in the industry yet. This is one company out of the thousands of gaming studios, and he's making it seem like, oh, this is something that's happening. Of course, this is not even a company situation. This is not a gaming situation. This is just an evil person who's taking advantage of people. This could be in any industry whatsoever. So it's not that deep. And when Ubisoft says, yo, listen, we didn't know about this, we're going to look into it, yeah, that's a reasonable response. Not every single publisher is going to know exactly the details of the people that loan these games to. It happens in the industry. That's why we've seen sexual assault cases. That's why we've seen abuse cases. We've seen racism cases and all these other studios and support studios. Xbox worked with the guys who made Ori, and apparently their employees got abused. Right, we've seen Xbox champion, diversity. Yes, they made a
yeah,
mistake with the whole Halo situation.
yeah.
PlayStation as well champions diversity. PlayStation sorry, the studios are meant they support rights of women, all these things, but we still see them get sued because one employee can mess up. The idea that we condemn a whole studio, or if me right here now, or if I'm a director or whatever it is, I say, oh, you know, we champion diversity, but if some dude is being racist, or some manager is being racist, now all of a sudden my studio is gone. You said it yourself. You can't say don't work with Mozambique studios because there's one corrupt gaming and because there's one corrupt studio in Mozambique. That's impossible. So I don't
Yeah.
understand where we're kind of coming from when we judge a whole studio by one person statement.
Yeah.
And he's trying to make it seem like Ubisoft has to adhere to these crazy standards because they say they like diversity. Every company likes diversity. Every company likes women's rights. Every company hates racism. So what? Every company has to go above and beyond. It's ridiculous. He's just trolling. I don't, this whole thing is nonsense. Again, I like that he's spreading the message, but I hate the fact that he's using his own lens
Only one
of
company.
anti-Ubisoft, of anti-Ubisoft or anti-corporation, whatever it is, to project a good message. And that was my critique.
All right, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
All right, that's
Dubs
fun.
for,
Ciao, guys.
dubs for Taye, everyone. Taye is not completely crazy. Completely crazy. Taye, please plug your channel and tell people where they can find you before you leave.
Yeah, you guys can find me at Tire Talks on Twitter and on YouTube. But yep, it was fun chatting. It was fun listening to your conversation. Got to bounce though. Safe, guys.
Yes, bruv. That was Taye Talks, people. Awesome dude. I like the way me and him always go back and forth, fighting on shit, but then we always find common ground on, the basics. The basics. And which is one of the points that we are talking about yesterday, that if you can't figure out the basics with people, like, yo, the sky is blue. Can we agree on that? Can we agree that the sky is blue? All right. Is water wet? Okay, cool. We can now talk about more important stuff. Anyway, let's carry on with this video from Legendary Drops.
ballooned. Developers strive to deliver more content, more features, and a world that feels even more massive, hoping that it's going to convince players that they're getting more value out of their money. But in the pursuit of all of that scale, many of these companies have lost sight of the fundamentals. Instead of focusing on the heart of the
I think we've gotten the most important part of this video. He seems to be just now agreeing with everything that I've been saying, or essentially stating the things that I've been saying since the beginning of this video, or this pod that I'm doing now. Scope matters. Don't overscope. Like even if you overscope and you have the money, you also have to think about the realities of time. Do you know what I mean? Like we only have so much time as gamers. We can't have a situation where we have 10 games like Skyrim come out in the first year. That's not going to end well for like 6 of those games. It's not going to end well because we just don't have the time. There aren't enough of us for you to release 6 Starfield level type games or in terms of size and scope, even if they're good quality. And it's like, bro, I'm still busy with Starfield number 3. Why are you releasing Starfield number 4 next month? All of this stuff needs to be taken into consideration. Vince says water isn't wet, water is water. Vince, don't make me block you.
experience, the quality of the game, working on their own game, they've turned to outsourcing, shifting the burden to low-wage workers in other countries. These workers often face horrific conditions from exploitative management and practices that we would never even see in the West, and working insane
I'm telling you, man. Cyberpunk, one of the goats. One of the goats.
hours all the time. And how do we think that that's going to be conducive to making a great game or making a great product at the end of the day? We have publishers and studios that are purposefully and knowingly delivering a low-effort product, all while cutting costs off the back of workers who receive little to no recognition for their contribution. Look at the mistreatment of the Brandeville employees. Am I to believe that those employees, under those conditions, can provide anything of high enough quality for a AAA game at $70? The product that we receive at the end of the day has been cheapened, and the industry's obsession with cost cutting has led to a decline in quality, hurting both the workers and the players. As consumers, we deserve better, and as humans, these developers deserve better. When I worked in construction, one of the things that was really popular, I saw this.
Yep. I think that's the video. I think that's it. I think that's all. I don't I don't agree with Taya's point that this is a bad video. I think it's a good video. The points that he brings up are important, and we need to be not only vigilant but also aware of the abuses that these corporations are willing to, inflict on people in the name of profit, and make the little changes that we can. We can't make like the drastic changes by ourselves individually, but if every single one of us makes a decision to actively contribute to a better, industry, I think we can get better results. Unfortunately, that would probably entail people boycotting games, and gamers are famous for not being able to boycott games. So I guess this isn't going to change anything. No matter what happens, Assassin's Creed, what's it, Shadows is still going to sell bonkers. And no matter what happens on the Xbox side, people are still going to subscribe to Game Pass. No matter what report comes out, people are still going to buy the next PlayStation exclusive. No matter what report comes out. But I'd like to think that the more we talk about this, the more we discuss this, the more we might sway the hearts of the people inside these corporations. Because although the corporations are heartless, you still need people inside them to make decisions, to sign documents, to approve, um, certain moves. And I wish that Legendary Drops video. Ty said it only got 300K. I wish his video got 600 million views, because we cannot forget that the developers make the games. And if we allow an industry that crushes developers, we're crushing the hope for more games in the future. Hey, Mental right now, welcome in, bro. Welcome in. Unfortunately, I'm about to hop off the stream here. Vincent says only PC gamers are able to boycott games. That's true. That's true. PC gamers, I don't know what's up. You guys have spines of steel. PC gamers know how to sit there and be like, no, I'm not going to buy that game, and not buy it as a community. Obviously, it won't be zero, but it'll be a very low number. You guys are impressive. PC gamers are very impressive when it comes to discipline with their wallets. But yeah, going back to my point, we can only hope that more people speak out like Legendary Drops did, not only against Ubisoft, like what Taya was saying earlier, against all of them. We need to speak out more against them when they make these mistakes, and hopefully sway the hearts of the heartless execs that need their third or fourth yacht this quarter. It is what it is. Vincent Vega, it's balls of steels. Rachie says PC gamers are equally spineless. Monster Hunter Wild. What's going on with Monster Hunter Wilds? Why are they spineless about Monster Hunter Wilds? Is it because of how broken it is? Fuzzy says PC gamers just spent all their money on their PCs. LOL. Oh, so it's not that they're disciplined. They're not disciplined. They just broke. Okay, gotcha. Mental, same old. Just working and listening YouTube. Hey, Mental. Unfortunately, I'm out. Y'all have a good one. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I really wanted to make this video today, get this off my chest, because this video, it's a couple weeks old. How old is this video? It's a month old. It's a month old, but it's something that's been weighing heavy on my mind and in my heart. Because for me, I wish game developers, all right, developers, not executives, right? I wish game developers were celebrated in the games, like zeitgeist, the same way we celebrate fucking basketball players in the NBA. You know, the same way we celebrate football players in football. That's how I feel about game developers, and they don't get that shine. I wish they did. I wish they did more often. There's like one or two, but most of the time, we don't know who these people are. They're nameless. They're nameless the heroes. So when this story came up, it broke my heart that the people that make this that make the whole thing even possible are still to this day getting abused. It sucks. I really hate it. I'd rather they bring all the scope down. I'd rather most games be like Armored Core, and sure it's not as polished, sure they don't have crazy cinematics in all of them. I'd be fine with that. Let's just stop abusing these people. It's not fair, it's not right. Vince says they're in for the Guna mods. Sapo, I don't want to speak out. I just want to but what buy what I enjoy, keep it gaming and keep it moving. Mental is your PC. It's running, but I'm still sorting out some stuff with updates and drivers and Windows and stuff like that. Admin stuff. It should be good to go by tomorrow's podcast on the lowdown. We'll see. Uh, Take care, Fark. Appreciate you. Fuzzy, Loke would rather just fire everyone. No, I'd rather take care of the scope. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. I love every one of you in the comment section. I really do. And I appreciate the time you guys take to comment, argue with me, agree with me, just interact on TSWS. Please smash the like button on your way out. And we will see you tomorrow for the lowdown on TSWS. Bye bye.